I can't hear you. I don't know why. Why can't I hear you? That's so weird. That's so weird. Because I've been listening. Like, I held one today and I heard people. Okay. You're not muted. I see you, but I cannot hear you. Let me look over here. Preferences, sounds. You're not muted, but you are. It's so weird. Sound, input, output. Yeah. Maybe you have something muted. Output volume, no. USB, we'll work it out. Hi, you can hear me? That's great. But I can't hear you. You can type your questions to me. Yay! That's so weird. I mean, I got this headset in, and I can hear other things in here. I just can't hear you. Control room. You're in a moderate. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. Very cool. Settings. Default microphone. Okay, hold on. Try talking now. I just changed no, I did my headset, default speakers, load tab. Okay, let's try that. Weird. It's the after effects of Mercury retrograde. I know, right? What are you going to do? I mean, I could try taking my headset out, but I don't know why that would be it. I don't know why. Yep, I click settings. I have the default microphone. Everything is set. Unmuted. Hear me, not hear me. I wonder if I should click out and then click back in or something. Oh, I heard something.
Hello?
Is it working? Yes!
Yay!
I'm scared. But now I don't hear you. Now I don't hear you. It's your headset or something. I heard it a second ago. Try it without your headset.
Now does it work?
Now
Yeah, now it works.
Okay, no more headphones.
Now it works.
Screw the headphones.
It's funny because I didn't want to wear the headphones and he was making me. So it's all good.
Jenny, it's my fault. Blame it on me. I apologize.
Hi, what's up? I'm not going to wear my headphones either. We don't need them. We're just going to go, without headphones.
Yeah, I think our sound is, at least we're here. Awesome.
Exactly. It's all good.
Here we go. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. So everything's recording. We're all good on the technical details. Can I start? John is my help.
Tech guy?
Okay.
Listen, tech support.
Let's officially start this. So everyone, let's welcome Jenny Fenig. So whether you're with us live or you're listening to the recording, I'm really excited to introduce you to Jenny. So I'm kind of not doing the whole formal introduction here. I'm just going to share a little story of how I met you, how I come to be introduced to you, because I think that kind of sums up who you are and how awesome you are. But I was 4 months, I had just had my baby, so she was about 4 months old. I went to this event, the Elevate event with Allie Brown, And I was like so overwhelmed and so stressed out trying to run a business with a baby. And I was telling these people in my group how much stressed I was, how overwhelmed I was. And they said, you need to meet Jenny Fenig. She's at that table. You need to meet her right now. She has all these time management things. Like, you need to go talk to her. So I got up. I like went over there and I met you. And like, I think the next day you had sent me this like time management sheet and schedule, because you also had a daughter around the same time as me, Kate, right?
Yep.
But you have 2 more boys too. So you had 3, I had 1, and I was like, if Jenny can do it, I can do it too. So there's many times where I've said that behind the scenes, and I've just watched you after that event. You launched a book, you started writing for the Today Show, you know, you've launched these programs and helped these coaches. And so I'm super excited to let my audience kind of see who you are, see what I've seen for so long, and now you're with us today. So thank you so much for being here with us, Jenny.
Oh my gosh. Super excited.
It's so funny. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is becoming a coach. And I love the topic because I get asked questions about becoming a coach so many times. And I think we have a good combination because I never got certified, but I coach now, and you got certified and you coach now. So we kind of have like the 2 different sides, and everyone's always asking me questions about it. Do I need to get certified when I first start? So I'm excited for you to share everything that you know about coaching and how to become a coach. So let's just start there. Tell me a little bit, you know, about your journey to becoming a coach and what people need to know about becoming a coach.
Okay. So I decided to become a coach when I burned out on corporate life. I started my career in New York City, corporate America, just thinking that I would walk that road as a public relations executive and then as a conference producer. And I got to a point in that career where I just wasn't. Are we okay with audio? You guys okay on your end? Feeling a little bit of, okay. So
you can try the headphones if you want, because I think it was my issue. You want to try?
Yeah, let me do that. But I think it might be like the feedback from your end. That's what I'm getting. So let's see here. I'm feeling like, hey. All right. Okay. Let's see. Let me make sure my settings are correct.
Okay, I'm doing this. Load your tech. We good?
Yes, we're great. Much better.
Yay. Okay, yay. Okay. So yeah, I was a corporate girl and got really disillusioned and wondering, like, is this it? You know, is this what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life? This feels kind of disappointing. And I didn't see that I could have a long career doing what I was doing, but yet I always wanted to work. Nothing wrong with gals who are like, I'm going to get married and have kids and then I'm not going to work anymore. But I just knew that that wasn't my road. So I had to find a career that was going to grow with me and allow me to be the kind of mother I thought I'd want to be, even though I didn't have kids yet, and touch the lives in the way that I wanted to touch them. And I realized that I had been doing coaching in like every job that I had, and it wasn't like my official job, you know, like my job was to get media coverage for our clients when I worked in PR, yet my coworkers would come to me for guidance and insight and how they can work through a challenge. When I moved into conference production, you'll get a kick out of this. I didn't know it at the time, but I basically started my first ever email list there because I started sending out inspirational emails every week, and my coworkers would like request to get on my list. Even my boss requested to get on my list eventually. I didn't put her on originally because I'm like, she doesn't need another email. She gets like a gazillion a day. And I realized now that was my first ever email list. It was from the company. So, you know, when you look back and you realize like, what was the thing that I always did well and that I loved to do? For me, it was coaching. I was a cheerleader growing up, like from the youngest time that I could remember, and then throughout high school. And I was just that person who had that optimistic attitude, that view that anything was possible when you can bring positivity to the situation, and you can really break down any challenge into, step by step by step a process, and have people on your team who want you to succeed and all of that good stuff. So when I got to the end of my corporate career, I honestly was just like, I'll go get another job. Like, I just had to get out of the current job I was in. And what I did at that time was I made a pretty bold move, and I quit my 6-figure job after I trained to become a yoga teacher. So I wasn't yet into coaching. Taking a sip of my kombucha.
I love
And
it. I love kombucha.
kombucha. My kids are outside. I have a babysitter here today. My one son is like, "Bucha." He loves it. And he's like, "Mom." I'm like, "All right, take a sip. I got to go."
There was a lady in the grocery store, and she was giving little samples. So my daughter had some too.
Oh yeah, I know. Like, two of my kids like it. One doesn't care for it. So yeah, like the yoga teacher training opened me up to this idea that I could really be myself in my work, and that was enough. And that was not something I had been practicing up to that point. And so when I went through that process, I was just like, I don't know what's coming next, but I'm going to quit and pursue another road. And so from there, I eventually discovered coaching. I had kind of heard about it before, because some of my speakers that I used to book as a conference producer, some of them had a title of coach. And I'm like, what is that really? And so once I kind of went out on my own, and I was applying for corporate jobs, but I was getting some callbacks and then not others. And I was just like, I'm not that excited about the opportunities that are coming my way. I feel like I should be excited. I felt like babies were coming on the horizon soon. And I felt like, well, if I'm going to go work for a company again, I'm going to have to quit soon because I get pregnant. Like, it was just getting complicated. And I went to a workshop led by one of the guys who trained me to become a yoga teacher, because he's now set off on an awesome path, written a bunch of books, helps people find careers that they love. He's a great entrepreneur named Jonathan Fields. And in his workshop, I met a woman there who was a creativity coach and a yoga teacher. And I'm like, what is this coach thing? And she told me about it. And I said, that's it. That's the thing that I'm here to do. That's a freaking job. I'm going to go do that. And so my next step, again, this was way back in 2008, very different landscape than it is now. And I at that point, all I knew to do was look at coach schools. Like, I wanted to go back to school. So that was my driver. I always thought I'd go back and get an MBA. When I graduated college, I was like, I'll be back in a few years. I'll get an MBA. But then as I was in the corporate space, I'm like, I actually don't want to get an MBA. Like, I don't want to go back and work for some corporation and be one of their MBAs. Like, I just didn't feel like that was my path, and that wouldn't utilize my biggest gifts. So I wasn't opposed to going back to school. In fact, I very much wanted to go back to school. And so what I did at that time was research various coach training programs, and found one that was starting in like 2 weeks in New York City, where I was living. It spoke to me. I signed up, and the rest, I say, is history. But it's been a road since then. And, I love coaching. But what I really realized at that point was, being a great coach is one thing. And I came out of that program, I was like, I'm a freaking great coach. But most of my classmates weren't surviving as coaches after that. I really had a hustle in me, and I'm like, I'm doing this thing, because during that training, I got pregnant with my first child. And I knew at that point I was freelancing in my old life. And like, I had a freelance client as a conference producer. So I was like getting regular money in while I was training to become a coach. And after my first son, Sean, was born, I'm like, I don't want to do that freelance conference work anymore. It's not fulfilling. I want to really just walk this path of coaching. And the way we were straight up trained in the traditional coaching program, we weren't set up for success on the marketing front. So a lot of my classmates weren't successful there. Many of them ended up hiring me to train them and to coach them on how to be successful coaches. So that was really my road. And that's why I started my coach training school last year, because I'm like, that's not cool, that you have all of these people who are like trained coaches and they're not making it. Or you have a lot of people who like are really good with the marketing piece, but yet they don't have, some of the skills that I feel like are really essential as coaches that can help you with what do you do when you get the nightmare client? What do you do when the person is constantly, canceling on you, ignoring your boundaries and policies and procedures? What do you do when all of a sudden you have that client who kind of goes postal on you? Like all these things that can come up, on the road of coaching, I wanted to create something that we could touch on the elements that I thought were super crucial in being a coach that's successful over the long haul.
That's so important. Yeah, and you said we were in a very similar position too, because I wanted to coach and I had that hustle in me because I had a daughter too. So it's like, I'm gonna do this no matter what.
Yes.
So I want to go back to about that time you said you were looking at schools, trying to figure out, you know, you were researching, you were trying to figure this out, because that's where a lot of the women I work with right now are. They want to be coaches, but they don't know what that next step is, that like first step is. So how would you evaluate kind of like what you should do next? Or do you need to go get certified? Do you need to be like have a certification behind your name? I get that question a lot.
Yeah. No, you don't need to be certified to be a coach. There's no rule or law that says that you do. It's not like being a lawyer or being a doctor that says you have to have these credentials next to your name to legally be able to call yourself a coach. That is a good and bad thing, I believe. Some people are just natural coaches. They have it in them. You know, they have it. It's like you don't have to have a credential to be a sports coach or, you know, some other kind of coach out there. And for many of us, it is such a valuable journey to walk, to really look at what I see are these kind of the road of coaching. And the first step is the personal growth path of coaching, because you tend to attract in the clients who mirror who you feel that you are or where you are in your journey. So if you have not done the crucial personal growth work, then it's very easy to get triggered by some of your clients, some of where they're coming from. If you haven't looked at your own fears and doubts, then this stuff just starts manifesting through the clients that you work with, through the fact that you launched something and the numbers that you thought were going to come in didn't come in, and then you start kind of going down this downward spiral. So I really feel like the personal growth path is step number one in the work that we do. Like, why are you being called here? Can you leave your own stuff at the door when you step into the coaching session? Can you really hold space? Can you understand that everything a client is experiencing is their stuff, not yours? Can you like clearly separate that energy so that you're not dragged down? Like you can go back out and hang out with your family and not feel like, oh my gosh, you're experiencing what your client is experiencing. You're like, that's not my stuff, that's theirs. For many coaches, that becomes super, super challenging. Some of us who haven't done the personal growth path, maybe we have abandonment issues. Maybe we were let down or disappointed. Who hasn't been let down or disappointed in their life? But I've had many people I know who call themselves coaches who get like really upset when their clients leave them. It's like, let's celebrate that. That to me, it just like reeks of codependency. And so when we can't like keep it clear and clean to say, you know what, like let's celebrate when your client is like has graduated, like ready to move on, like that's amazing. Yet I feel like, you know what I'm talking about is like we have to keep the energy really, really clean and clear. Like we don't have to try to design a program that like no one can ever leave. Like that's not, we don't need to do that. You know, we just don't need to do that. So that's kind of like the step one, is really looking at what does that personal growth path look like? Why are you being called here? And are you willing to kind of look under the hood and see what's going on so that you don't bring any of that weird lower level energy into the work that you do with your clients? And then the next step is ensuring that you have the skills and tools necessary to be a master coach. Can you hold space? Are you clean and clear with asking empowering questions, knowing that you don't have to have all of the answers, that in fact the answers come from within the client? You can hold space. Certainly there's many times that I'm providing more like consulting and guidance and like, yeah, you know, you want to know a good, you know, software tool, like here's two options to choose from. We've used both. I can speak to both. Our clients often want that from us, but when we have these skills and tools of like bottom lining and really looking at energy, and can you look at, you know, forwarding the action, or kind of looking at inner critic work, that's stuff that I believe in. You know, often when we're growing businesses, like kind of faking it till you make it can be very powerful, but I don't feel like that's the most, that's the best energy to bring into a coaching relationship. Like I'll just fake it until I make it. Like I don't think any not that we're therapists. I don't think any therapists are saying that, or I don't think any, like I wouldn't want a doctor like faking it until they made it with me when they're like, performing surgery or something like that. Like this is a really important, it's important modality. And again, just because like anyone can call themselves a coach doesn't mean that they really have the confidence necessary to be coaches. So that's really like that second step is one where we spent a lot of time in my coaching school looking at that and like having peer clients to work with and a peer coach to work with. So you can feel like you can be that you can be like a student and practicing and learning and getting that feedback and growing, but that you realize that your job as someone who is like hiring you to coach them is to feel like you've got this like really, really solid foundation from which to pull from, because you've got their life is in your hands, or their business is in your hands. And I think the cool thing about coaching is we tend to attract high level individuals, like they're high functioning individuals, which sometimes is not the case in therapy. You can have someone who's at crisis level, and that's why we're not therapy. And if you get a client, something you need to know as a coach, if you get a client who's not at that level, you need to be ready to refer them out. You need to be ready to be like, I'm not a freaking therapist. Like I can't go there with you around, like panic attacks necessarily, or you're like having like intensive anxiety. And I had a client once when I first got started who she was working with both me and her therapist, which I was clear on, and that's totally cool. But I was like triggering her so much based on this relationship that she had with like a friend in high school. And she would send me like 5-page emails about what it was. And I was like, whoa, like, and I didn't think that I had to fix this for her. I suggested that we work on the business stuff, and that other stuff is really for her therapist, because I'm not trained in that modality, and that she really needs to focus on that with a therapist. In the end, that wasn't possible, and we needed to part ways. Wow. And so like that's the stuff you when learn. You are skilled.
What I love about your program and what you combined with the marketing and then the coaching is that they can really get the fast track too. Because for me, I mean, all the stuff you're talking about, I was like trial by error, like figuring things out. I read, I made my own, like, I feel like I made my own coaching school, because I was just like this constant reader, podcasts, and just listening as much as, or just studying as much as I could about coaching.
Yes.
But it took me a long time. Like I did coaching in the nights and in the weekends, like on the side hustle of my day job. But what you have like right in front of you, you're tackling the most important stuff first. It's like outlined for you too. And so I think that's the value. It's like, it's those people that are like wanting the quick start, wanting to do this fast rather than taking years. I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking years, but also, it's waiting for you. And not only that, but like those clients are waiting for you to help too. And that's kind of what I've realized is like, there's people that are just waiting that need you out there too. And so I think I'd like to hear more too about like the coaching industry right now, and why, how many like types of coaches are available? Like what are the possibilities of coaching right now? I know we had one girl, she's actually my client, who is interested in becoming like a technology coach.
Yeah, so, I saw that.
Kind of stuff like, what is coaching? Is it just life coaching, or what are the opportunities that people have right now?
They're unlimited, really. You can call yourself anything. Like I was running a mastermind this week with 12 of my clients it's called Glow. I freaking love it. And it was a 3-day mastermind. And I'm like, I was just coaching the whole time. Like I'm in like coaching heaven, running this mastermind at this extraordinary resort, like 25 minutes down the road from my house. I spent the night. So I was like on my own retreat. It was so great. But one of the gals, she was saying, I used to call myself a health coach, but I don't want to call myself that anymore. And so we were working on, okay, well, what do you want to call yourself? And so she really moved into, well, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a spiritual coach. I'm like, great. So, I mean, you can do that. There's no like governing body you need to go to and be like, excuse me, I want to change my title from this to this. Like, do it. Just go freaking do it. You call yourself, usually if you want to call yourself a health coach, I think there's there's like some big health coaching programs out there that a lot of people have gone through, and maybe that would feel like a fit for somebody who like straight up wants to be a health coach. But some people call themselves success coaches. There's no reason why you couldn't call yourself a technology coach. I'd want to understand more of like, what is that? A systems coach, a life coach, a spiritual coach, like a nature coach. Literally, you could beauty coach. There could be so much, like anything, like an organic eating coach. It's like whatever you specialize in, whatever you're super excited about. A parenting coach, there's people who call themselves that. The sky is the limit. Career coaching, that's a very popular category as well. It's evolving so fast, and the market definitely is big, and it's becoming bigger by the day. But I don't want people to get afraid of that, because that means that there is a market. And so people are buying coaching, they're buying getting this support. So it's my advice to my people is just call yourself whatever you want. Like, honestly, call yourself whatever you want. But it has to feel like you're in integrity and you can speak from a place of authority and wisdom around. If you're like, I'm a money coach, and you're like, you can't even get it out of your mouth, then maybe that's not what you can call yourself yet. Whatever you decide to call yourself, you need to stand firm on that and feel like you have something to offer your people.
I love that. Yeah, that's really, really important. And I think you're right. There is so many more opportunities, and because it's growing, that just means there's more opportunity for you too. So what are kind of, 'cause I feel like a lot of people want to get into coaching, but the hardest part really is getting the clients, and that's what you touch on in your program too. So what are your, how do you teach your clients to get clients themselves? Like, what are the steps to do that? And then tell us a little bit about the program and how that would help them get clients too.
Okay, cool. So I just actually led a webinar earlier today on this and this particular topic. It was attracting ideal clients, even if you're not tech savvy. So, the key, honestly, which we touched on, but I just want to make the point like super, super clear, is that you have to do the crucial personal growth work. Okay. You are not going to attract clients to you if you're like low vibration, if you're always woe is me, you're always complaining, you're just a victim, you like to get in fights with everybody. Those are the two lowest levels of energy, victim and conflict energy. And that is what the majority of the world operates on. So if you watch the news, you will see that's how people are rolling. Okay. So you got to stay out of that. Keep your vibe high, because your vibe attracts your tribe. Okay. So when you are just out there, you're around positive people, you're reading inspiring text, you are exercising, you're living healthy, you have a very strong, what I call a spiritual relationship. That's very much what we talked about at my retreat this week. Like, my specialty is working with spiritual entrepreneurs. And so the coaching that I do is very spiritual in nature. The spiritual relationship is of your own understanding. But in my experience, when you are right there, when you're like clear and strong around that, you attract people to you like nobody's business. It is just magic. So that is straight up like what I very much teach. When it comes down to the more tactical elements, we're looking at sharing. So social media is spectacular for this. It's free. All you got to do is just share who you are. Like right now, we're running a free challenge for my community called the Get Gutsy Challenge. And I just have the gals, it's like a 7-day challenge. And every day there's like a different lesson. And then there's an action. And the action is involving them doing a very short, simple writing exercise and then sharing it. But sharing it with, with that whole idea, there's method to my madness. So I have them, hashtag in the sharing and then share it on their public profile by tagging at least 3 people that they want to see the post. So the tagging is this great technology that allows more people to be touched by your message. So my job is to help my people who maybe are not as tech savvy as I am. And I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world, but I know enough to have been growing my business consistently since 2008. So I'm very much in this whole idea of just get out there and share. Talk about your passion to everyone who will give you an ear, not because you're trying to sell them, but because you're simply so excited. You're so excited to be doing this work. You're so excited to be touching lives. That's very much how I grew my business. I would just talk to people like, I'm so excited. I like building this business as a coach. That's how I got my first clients. Like my first paid client, I went to my friend's birthday party and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like, you quit your job. I'm like, yeah, I did. And I'm training, I'm becoming a coach now. I'm having a blast. I'm doing it. And they're like, this one chick was like, I need your number. She hired me like the next day.
Yeah,
It was
attracted to that. Just
they
that
are the passion and whatever your thing is. Like one of the assessments that we did for my mastermind, we did Sally Hogshead's fascination assessment. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but everybody has a different archetype that we bring out into the world. So for me, I have like an official name of my archetype, but I'm very my primary trigger, the way I attract people in, is passion. And the secondary trigger for me is power. And so, and everyone's different. And so, yours might be, a different breakdown. It could be innovation. It could be trust. It could be something else. And so whatever your thing is, like part of my job as the teacher to my students is to guide them to figure out who they are, because self-knowledge is the highest form of knowledge. So when we can really bring our contributions out into the world based on what we are naturally gifted at, when we can go onto social media, when we can just share from the heart and with the spirit of wanting to help people, energy starts moving and you'll start getting emails, you'll start getting private messages, you start getting phone calls. Like all of a sudden you're freaking out because it happens for my people. They're like, oh my God, and it just starts happening. It feels like it's magic, but it's this mixture of, like strategy and sacred sharing. And then all of a sudden things just start happening. You need to start, you need to have an email list, as you have one in your business as well. You need to have a place where you can get people into your world, put out your beautiful content, high value content, stuff that honestly everybody watching right now, like you could create today something, like if your life depended on it, you could create an audio, you could create a worksheet, you could create a checklist, a free report that people will give you their coveted email address to get their hands on. And then from there, you have this list of people who want to hear from you. They want to learn from you. And then you can be doing workshops, you can one-on-one coaching. That's usually the quickest path to cash as a new coach. I mean, there's just so many ways that you can essentially serve your tribe, but it really does start with you getting clear on like the message that you came here to share, and then the people who you are so committed to share it with.
Yeah. And I think I love that you brought up the tagging thing of the friends, because I have seen it in action. So I've seen your clients, you know who my bookkeeper is, and the beginning of the year to now, like I have seen, I know her so much more. And now it all makes sense because she's tagging everyone on Facebook and she's being authentic and genuine and she's sharing who she is. And just, I'm her client, but I've totally seen, I now know her so much better. I'm like, I'm her client for life.
I know. That's what happens.
I know
our soul.
I know her inside. I know how she's just become so much more authentic and genuine. And like, I know her from reading her social media posts. So now I know where she gets it. Now I know her strategy. It's all good.
Exactly.
Awesome. I love it. Okay. So you haven't told us too much yet about your coach training school, but that's really where I want to go next. I really want to dive into that and tell us why your training school is better than a certification, what they're going to learn at that coach training school, and then how long is it, like all the details like that too.
Okay, cool. Well, just so everybody knows, we do actually have a certification element to this. So that was something I chose to do. The school that I went through, again, this was back in 2008, very different landscape. I was like, it had to be under ICF, is like the governing body of coaching. It's the International Coach Federation. And now having been a practicing coach, self-sustaining coach since 2008, this is not a knock on the ICF, but I've just found for myself, it wasn't important for me to be credentialed by the ICF or anything. So my school is not credentialed by the ICF. It's credentialed by my company. So students who come through Get Gutsy Coach Training School can choose to go on to become Get Gutsy certified coaches. We offer that because for many women, they want that. They want to feel they have the certification behind them. At this point, we've had, 2 classes of students come through. We've just like given our fifth, I want to say our fifth Get Gutsy certified coach designation out, which I feel so proud. I'm like a proud mother. I'm like, oh, you did it. And many more will be coming through, because what they have to do is submit their hours. They take a written test, and then they coach me for their final. And I say to them, like, I want you to succeed. You know, I didn't put these checks in place to like try to fail you. No, we want you to succeed, but we put those checks in place so that we know that you've done the work, that you've really showed up, and you didn't just sign up for the course and never do anything, which you and I know it's very easy to sign up for courses and never do anything. I've set this up where that's not going to be the case, you know, by the price point and by how it's designed. My programs, I consider them boutique experiences. I'm not interested in serving hundreds of people at a time and Get Gutsy Coach Training School. Like, I want to be in there with you. I want to know you. I really want to, I consider it like taking you under my wing so you can do this thing. Like, you can really do this thing. For me, coaching is easy, but I know for some women it's, you know, you're scared. You wonder if you have what it takes. You wonder if, you like if everybody else can do the coaching thing, but for some reason you didn't get the gene, you know? And so what I've designed it to be very intimate so that I really know each one of my students. So it is a 4-month program. We start on February 9th. Doors, like applications close on February 8th. And yeah, the way we designed it is we have like three, what I call the curriculum is designed in like 3 buckets, if you will. And it's delivered over the 4 months of time. And the way it's broken down is kind of what we talked about here. It's really that personal growth path of coaching. That's golden key number 1. And we're looking at the fear, like clearing out your fears and your doubts, really looking at your gifts and your credentials and your experience. We look at bringing an end to just all the limiting beliefs that have held you back up to this point. Because again, you doing the work means that you will be that much more skilled to help your clients do the work. Mm-hmm. That's why it has to start with you. You can't guide your client to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. Okay. So we start there. And then once we move through that element of the curriculum, we move into those skills and tools. And so you will know how to ask those questions. You'll know how to bottom line. You'll know how to help your clients redefine the relationship with their inner critic. You'll know how to handle like victim energy and vampire energy, which comes at you no matter what you do. How to handle nightmare clients, how to leverage tools in my book, which is called Get Gutsy. How to develop boundaries, policies, and procedures, which are crucial, which, you know, unfortunately, I've learned the hard way on a lot of that stuff. So I've built that into the curriculum so you don't have to learn the hard way. And then the final golden key is making a great living as a coach and a marketer and an entrepreneur. And so that's that whole like building the business. And so you've done all the work. You've had practice the whole time because we've paired you up with a peer coach and a peer client, which is really, really cool. You don't have to get paired up with the peer coach and peer client, but everyone who's come through has wanted to. So we facilitate that. And so that golden key number 3 is allowing you to announce your business to the world, commit to a content creation schedule, understand how to lead powerful enrollment conversations, which is the key to getting clients. You know, when you get to that step in the journey, how do you onboard clients? How do you set up systems and technologies? How do you lead powerful retreats and workshops? How do you develop online courses? Kind of like everything that comes with really developing a sustainable business. That's the curriculum. And it's funny as I'm talking about it, because I'm remembering that when I first went to college, I thought I was going to be a teacher. Like, that's what I wanted to do. And I was majoring in English and minoring in secondary education, because deep down, that's really what I am. I am a teacher. And that's why I love leading courses and programs. Like, I get to teach. And yes, I'm coaching, but I straight up teach. Yeah. I adore it. I adore it. So I feel like my curriculum is like some of the best in the business, like across the board when it comes to the coaching industry. And then we kind of like, you know, it comes out every week, and then we give like integration and pause weeks built in throughout the program so people don't like lose their minds. And there's audio lessons mixed with worksheets, and the worksheets give you step-by-step action. So it's not just theory, you're actually like putting it into practice. And we're going to have you share. We have coaching calls and coaching demos, work samples and resources, tip sheets, a forum, of course, and then you can become that certified coach if you choose. And then the cool part that I want people to get is that once they graduate, we don't just say like sayonara, good luck, congratulations, like we'll catch you on the flip side. We actually offer ongoing support. So I launched a program a few months ago called Get Gutsy University. And that's where I put like all of my courses I've created over the years. And so our coaches, they automatically get membership there. And then when they finish, they will have continued access to that program. We have monthly coaching calls, there's community, and then my certified coaches get to co-lead a call with me in Get Gutsy University. So like my goal is to promote my coaches far and wide. I'm like, go for it. Like I am putting you guys out there. I don't take a cut of the people who hire you because they heard about you through me. Like I want to launch you out there into the stratosphere because I'm not here to coach like so many people privately one-on-one. Like I'm running things like this, and then I want to launch my coaches like out there in the world. And then finally, we do have, it's 100% online immersion, in terms of learning, but we are offering a bonus masterclass. So a 2-day live event for my students in this class. And then the previous one, we're going to be offering that up in 2016 too. So it's just super awesome.
Back like 5 years, and can you create this program for me 5 years ago?
I know, right? Exactly.
Combined everything that my personal MBA growth program that I did, and I got my MBA, but it did not prepare me whatsoever to become a coach. And so
got it.
I think just all the stuff you have added in for the training is just so helpful. And my word of encouragement is like, get a coach before you think you're ready, or before you can even have the funding to get a coach, because it really helped me. Like the second I got that coach, I mean, it was like a completely different business for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went many years trying to do it myself, and then realized like I can't do it myself any longer. So if I can encourage anyone else to kind of like put themselves out there to get the training that they need to really catapult them, so it doesn't take you the years, that it really took me to be able to quit my job and, do my dream full time too. So I'm glad you mentioned the bonuses. The other bonus that we are adding to your program too, if you go to classycareergirl.com/getgutsy, that's where you can learn more about Jenny's training program. But you will get 2 individual coaching calls with me as well. And so that's because I really do, I mean, I've known Jenny for a long time. I really do believe in how she's positioned herself as a coach and the training she provides. Like I said, I've seen it in my bookkeeper and other clients that she's had too. So I wanted to add that special bonus for people that do sign up for your coach training school, Jenny.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. And then one other element I'm going to further incentivize and thank your crew when you sign up at that link that you just heard, classycareergal.com/getgutsy. That's it, right?
Girl.com.
Okay. Girl.
Sorry,
girl. Got classycareergirl.com/getgutsy. We'll see that your registration comes through that link, and then we're going to give you $1,000 off your tuition. So our early bird price expired a few days ago, and when we were arranging this, I'm like, you know what, I want to offer that to your people. So when your crew goes to look at the page, they'll see the investment. Right now it's $4,997. That's our full pay. We also have a great payment plan over a year. People can totally space it out, no problem. And we will give you $1,000 off your investment. So the way it works, those of you who are ready to just like go for it, you're ready to learn and become coaches, like just get this kind of like coaching business in a box, you submit an application, and there's a $500 application fee. If for whatever reason people's applications don't get approved, they get that fully refunded. And then from there, you can choose your payment plan, either pay in full or over 12 months. And then we'll know that your registration came through this special link. And then we will take that $1,000 off of your investment. So that's just to say, you all freaking rock. We want to help you do this thing. And we believe that, coaches really are changing the world, and it's time. It's really time. I feel just so honored to do this work. I know the women who have already registered, like applied, I like literally cry when I read their applications. I'm like, oh my God, like, this is so exciting because they're so amazing. They just are filled with light and love, and they're doing such extraordinary work in the world. And I know, you know what it was like when you stepped into the path of coaching. I know what it was like, how much your life changed, how much your lifestyle changed, how much your happiness changed, and then how much you changed your clients' lives. Then when you can go back to that point and you're realizing literally at this specific point in time, there are women making that decision. And you know that just the whole path that is laid out in front of them is so electric and filled with gold and just unlimited opportunity. I feel like that energy in my body going, I'm so excited for them because I remember that time so vividly. Yeah.
So I want to touch on one of the biggest things, because we have many women who are in, corporate America still. They're trying to leave to become coaches. Like, what is the time involved? Because I think that's probably one of the biggest stumbling blocks I hear from the women that are watching.
Yeah, for the program itself.
Yeah.
So the way I really design like the bulk of my programs, because I'm sensitive to that, and I have a lot of clients who have joined my programs when they're still like employed full time, is that the curriculum is delivered, it comes out every week by email. And so you get to do it on the time that works for you. It's not like you got to be on a call every Monday at noon. Like, we don't do it like that. The coaching calls are scheduled throughout the program. And if you can't join live, you can always join the recording. No big deal. You can send your questions in advance. The forum is available. We have it on Facebook. It's open 24/7. You can come in there. You can get connected. And then you would then just, if you want to get connected to a peer coach and then, of course, a peer client, then you all would set up that time. And I always suggest to my people, if you want to do it every week, you can. If you want to connect every other week, you can do that 3 times a month. That's fine. And so it's all very much like, you're going to get as much out of it as you put in. So, you can use the excuse that I'm so busy, I'm working in corporate, but like, you can use that excuse for the rest of your life. And so what I always would say to my clients who are like wanting to get out, I'm like, well, then stop putting like 120% of yourself in something that you want to leave. Okay. You can still do great work because I know that's who you are, because we are like the reliable gals who get things done and, are really great at our jobs. But you are perfectly allowed to go and pursue a path that is your next step. And so, you can totally do this thing for like a few hours a week. I mean, you are going to need to commit. You won't get any results if you're not willing to commit, but it doesn't need to be like 10 hours a week. You're going to have like the assignment that you're going to action, but you can do it like on your commute. You can go get up. I've been getting up early in the morning to work on things. I've been meditating in the morning. You have to be willing to put in that hustle, but to trust that the way I've designed things, it's like, I want the most efficient use of your actions that are getting you the results that you deserve. Because, I'm a mom of 3, as you shared when you introduced me. Like, I don't have freaking time to waste. I didn't know that nobody else does either. So I've designed it to be just a super efficient, effective use of your time. And those of you who want to get certified, you have a year after the course ends for you to earn your certification. So we're cool on that.
Awesome. I love it. So what is your final word, last word to someone who is dreaming of becoming a coach someday? Like, what, if you had one final word to tell them, what would you say?
I want you to imagine yourself at this time next year. I want you to see yourself fully in love and enjoyment for what you're doing, for who you're helping, the message that you're spreading. And then I want you to make a decision right now to move in that direction immediately. Time waits for no one. We are not guaranteed that we are even going to see 2017. I hope that we all do. But my sister died when I was a teenager and she was 12. So that is my driving force. I know that every day is a gift. And there is absolutely no good that you're doing in the world staying in a job or career that you don't like. It is a complete waste of your energy. You are here for greatness. You are a child of the universe. You're a child of God. Put in your belief system there. And you are here to affect lives. Coaching helps you do that. Coaching changes lives, and it starts with yours. We would love to have you, and I know you're going to love it.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Yes, this is why I love you, because we share so many of the same thoughts and beliefs and everything too. So thank you so much, Jenny, for being here. Remember, guys, if you are interested in joining, go to classycareergirl.com/getgutsy And what is the date that they need to sign up by again?
February 8th is our final day for applications. So, head over there. The application is, again, we're not trying to stump you. We're not trying to we're just essentially feeling your energy and ensuring that, we have a right fit. I will tell you that the women who have already applied, literally just extraordinary human beings. That is why I have application programs for my higher level offerings, because I put so much of myself in, and those who I allow into this inner circle, I invite into this inner circle. I want to ensure that all of our energy is just really gorgeously aligned. And yeah, it's just going to be amazing. So February 8th is the last day for this round. And people sometimes ask, well, when are you going to do it again? Like perhaps in the fall, but if you're anything like me, like I can say that and I could totally change my mind. So if you want it for sure this year, this is the time to do it.
Very cool. And if they have questions, is there an email address that they can use?
Yes, they can go to our support email. It's support@jennyfenig.com. Support@jennyfenig.com. That's on the webpage too, that they'll see when they go to your link. You'll see it all there. We are happy to help. We have a 1-800 number there too. It's actually 1-877 number, but reach out. We understand what an important decision it is. We actually have a section on the application, like once people pay the fee, which again is refunded if the application is not approved. They can request to have a call with someone from my team for any questions that aren't covered on the website. Like the sales, we call it a sales page. It is so detailed. We have like so many questions asked and answered because we want to make people like very comfortable to make this step. Like that is my goal, because I understand what it was like going back to early 2008, like, literally almost like however many years ago that is, going, I remember that point so vividly, and I promise everyone who steps forward, like I hold you in the highest light. This is a sacred container, and we take your membership and your application and you making this commitment. We take it very, very seriously.
Awesome. I love it. Well, I think I have asked you everything. So thank you so much for joining us, and I can't wait to hear about your program and see you and the coaches and everyone just that next year that you just said. It's going to be amazing. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks so much for hosting.
It got dark where you are.
It did. Yeah, I know. We're 3 hours ahead.
Awesome.
Bye, hon. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.